In this How to Play with Created Player in NBA 2K26, I'm going to show you how to create a player and then load them into a roster so you can play with them in either MyNBA or Blacktop or a quick game and play now, those sort of things. Are you ready? Let's go. So the first thing we need to do is create a player. So on the top bar, select Features. When you're on here, go down to Create a Player. And when you're in here, you can pick whether you want to be in the NBA or the WNBA, entirely up to you. But we'll go in here and then add a new player. So to begin with, NBA 2K26 creates a player for you, and this is randomly generated. You can go in and mess around with the appearance here. So I can go into for the appearance here and just change this however I see fit. So maybe we want to go with that way, and maybe we don't want tattoos, or you want more tattoos. That's entirely up to you. But the point is, you've got a starting base here to work with. You can mess around with shoes, gear, accessories, hot zones, signature moves, etc. The other thing you can do is mess around with your vitals as well. So we can change the name. So you can see we've got first name, last name here, which has been auto-generated, and you can select this and change it to anything else. And also same with the nicknames here. There's various nicknames. You get the idea. You can also change your position here, so you can decide where you want to play. So let's say we want to be a power forward, for example, and we want to change that, whatever. All right, so once you've got that, you may want to go in and mess around with the vitals, your attributes here, so you can, work with all your settings here. So remember this, right? We've got post hook as 63, because a fast way of doing that is you could import player DNA. If you do that, you can use an NBA player. And if we look at the Chicago Bulls here and have a little look at our power forward here, this is our dude here, Bazulis. And we could say, you know what, use that dude's attributes. So let's do that. So we're going to select that and we'll say import attributes and keep appearance. And then what we've got when we look at the attributes is these things have been changed to match that player, which is pretty cool. You are then free to amend those if you wish. So we could give our player a power up here. And of course, you can 99 everything if you wish. It's entirely up to you, but that would take me a little while. But you can see there's just things here we can do. So what I'm doing here is just upping things here. And there's a reason for this. That I want to be a starter in the team. All right, so we'll just do this. And what we should see is our player is now rated a little bit higher than the player that we imported in. So once you're happy with all of that, you just choose complete. So I'll keep the changes and return. And then we get this option here. So we've got Luke Thummond here is our created player that we now want to play on another team. So we get our ratings here and how they all are. So you can go into here and adjust that to your heart's content. So now we've created our player, we need to insert them into a roster so we can play with them in other modes. And we can do that on this area here as well. We've got this option here to create roster. Now you can pick rosters from any of these different eras here. So we go to the Jordan era if we want it, or the current era here, or the WNBA down the bottom there. Entirely up to you. I'll go with the modern. Then you can either pick the official 2K roster, which will be the current roster, or you can use a user-created roster from other people that have created rosters and uploaded them for you to use. That's entirely up to you which one you want to go with. I'm going to go with the official 2K roster. So what I see here is the roster creator, and this gives us all of the teams and all of the players in here for each of the teams at the current point of the season. So on the top left there, we can flick through teams here. So if we go to Chicago Bulls, remember Bazulis was who we based our player on. So what we could do is replace Bazulis with our new player, our Luke Thummond or whatever his name was, and work with that. So then we're working with our created player. So down the bottom there, you see you've got the various different options. So X for me to select. And then what I can do is release Bazulis to a free agency. So I'm going to say, dude, I'm going to replace you. So we'll do that. And then that player, you will see if you L2 over to the free agency, he would be sitting in there. There he is. So we got him there. But also, if you look under created players, there is Thummond. So we're going to say, look, we want Thummond in the Chicago Bulls in this example. So what we do is select with X and we say copy Thummond to your team. When we do that, we can pick the team. So I'm going to say Chicago Bulls and say yes. And what we should see then is if we go R2, 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 not D2. And you can see Chicago Bulls, and we're looking for him. There he is. So there's a slight thing that you see. He looked like 99, now he's 85. I think it was slightly adjusted. I think it was incorrect before, but it's now good there. So he looks like he's a good, strong power forward choice. Should be a better choice than Williams here because he's got a higher rating. So what you can also check here before you save the roster is if you look over on rotations here, you can see whether he is getting picked or not. And the answer is probably not initially because we just chucked him in the team. So you can see no minutes assigned to Thummond at the minute. So what we could do is say rebuild the rotations down the bottom there, triangle for that. And what that'll do is the coach will have a little look and decide who's the best players and who should be playing. So if we do that now, we can see he's got minutes here. Now, if for some crazy reason you've chucked in a player where they aren't that good and they're not getting minutes, you could go into them here and adjust these. So we could say, we could have a little look through these and decide who's getting time and who's not, and adjust it with the left stick here and give maybe more time to our player here. So you can see he's getting the most minutes of anyone in the team here, which is cool. So once we're happy with that, you can go back to the roster. You can play around with other things. But when you're happy, choose Save. Down the bottom there, you see there's the little button for Save next to Back. So that's the tiny little button to the right of the touchpad on the PlayStation. So I'll choose a new file. And then I need to give this a name. So I'm going to give it the very useful name of a test. And I'm going to call it LT for that player that we created. So we know what we're looking for. All right, so we're going done. And it'll say enter a description. You can leave that blank or you can enter something if you wish. I'm going to leave it blank. And then it'll tell you if there's any problems with the roster for creating the final selection. And it says there's this. So I'll say, yeah, sort that out and sort that out as well. There we go. Would we like to upload the save you just made? So you could upload it if you want other people to use it, or you can just leave it local. So I'm going to choose no and just have it local. So I now have that roster that I can use to play some of the other modes. So let's have a little look at this. So we'll go and save changes lost because we've already saved it. That's fine. So your roster should be sitting in View Roster. So if you have a little look under Modern and you go to User Created Rosters and then R1 to My Files, we should see it there. There you go, Test LT. So that's the one we just created. And it's local only at the minute. So that's what we've got. All right, so we're now ready to play with that in other game modes. So let me show you how this works. If we have a little look at Play Now, there's a couple of things you could do. If you wanted to play Quick Play and just play with that team, you can choose Enter Quick Play and then pick the team that you want. So you can see at the minute that you go, whoa, this doesn't look right. He's not there. Where is he? Basilis is on the team. Down the bottom left-hand side, choose Load Roster, L3. And then choose your user created roster. So we go to there and we R1 over until we get to My Files and we choose Test LT. And then what we should see is if we now go through those teams there. So we've got the all-time teams here, current NBA teams, and then have a little look through. Somewhere in here we should find our dude. Oh, there we go. Chicago Bulls. Luke Thummond is all good to go. So if we're then happy to play, we just go start there, start game, and we should see our created player in here. So let's have a little look, see if he's in. Should be
here we go.
Somewhere. Yeah, there he is at the back there. You see him? There. All is good. So that is how you would play with him in that quick play mode. Let's go to another mode and just show you how you do it in some of the other modes as well. Now let's show you how you do that in Blacktop. So we'll go Play Now. And then we'll choose Blacktop, enter Blacktop. 1v1. And again, it's the same thing. So I'm going to move my player 1 to Ballers here. And then on the left-hand side down the bottom, Load Roster L3. User Created Roster My Files. Grab that. Select it. So we'll just go here, 21, and then I will have Kobe White on one side and we'll have Thummond on the other side. Then we'll go Advance and Advance again. And what we should see is I'm in control of Thummond. There you go. So we're good. Beautiful. And last, but by no means least, here's how to play with Created Player in MyNBA. So on the top bar, we go over to MyNBA, enter that there, enter again. And I'm going to create a new save file here. So we'll just go with that one. And the important thing here is you want to pick the right era. So we'll go modern era. And then when you're in here, you need to make sure you pick the roster in a particular area. So we'll just skip this. So hold X to skip that. And on the setup options up the top left, you see it says option list, triangle for me. Select that and then make sure you activate custom roster here on the top bar there. Choose advance, and then you're going to use that user created roster again. And we'll go to my files, pick that one. Choose the team we want to manage. So I'll choose Chicago Bulls and advance. And what we should see is our player is sitting in here. So we'll go blah, 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 auto-generate the rookies. And we'll just say, yeah, that's fine. And you should find your player in here, but I'll just fast forward to a game just to prove that we've got the player in there. And we should see, there he is, Luke Thurman is ready to go. So we'll start the game and we should see him on the court. There he is. It's all beautiful. So in we go, and we should see him there. Yeah, there he is, just behind. And we should see as we're running around. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. And here he goes. Little layup just to score there. And we're all good. So there you go. I hope that answered the question how to play with Creative Player in NBA 2K26. If it did, give us a thumbs up, please. That's much appreciated. Any comments welcome. If you like what I do, please hit subscribe. That'd be awesome to support the channel as well. And let me know what other things you're struggling with in NBA 2K26. Thanks so much for watching.